Hey guys, how's it going? It's Sankar and today I'm going to show you how to make a really cool chime December sort of bass. Really classic 2014-2015 bass here in Pigments. So without talking much longer, let's go into our DAW and get started with this tutorial. So I have a empty Pigments here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and start by selecting here from the Pigments for wavetables. I'm going to choose the 80s wavetable here. And now I gotta turn it down 2 octaves. And it's not quite yet sounding like the sound we want. But you can sort of already hear the harmonics that we're looking for in this wavetable. And I want to sort of have an automation here, so I'm going to go into the LFO one. I'm going to drag this like this and set it to unipolar. And choose a sine wave. I'm going to sort of play around with the symmetry here and change around the phase so that it so something like this. Maybe not so long so I can play around here. I'm going to add a second LFO here, again in unipolar. And this is going to be it's going to have that nice little modulation. And I want it a bit louder, so I'm going to add some fold here. I'm gonna add some comb filtering here. Maybe like 4. And now I'm gonna add a high pass, and this is very important to really shape the sound. And now I'm gonna add a second oscillator here. As well as a sub oscillator, and the sub oscillator is gonna go directly into the effects. Now we're gonna add a lot of chorus. As well as some distortion, and I would like to use a tape distortion here. and some multiband or OTT. And I can start playing around with the LFO speed here. And the key to really achieve the tone, like that classic dubstep tone, is having a lot of distortion. That's why I increased the fold amount here and the first oscillator as well as the tube distortion. Now you can play around with the position for different tones. And you can, for example, add voices now into the second oscillator. Play around with the comp filter. And that comb filter really does a lot of the heavy lifting. And now we can go into the post-processing here and we can start adding more effects. Like, for example, one great effect is having some OTT with the upwards compression disabled so that it doesn't lift a lot of the artifacts, a lot of the noise from the synth. We can also add some EQing here just to clean up the sound a little bit. And I really like to add some room here, so some reverb really helps with the sound. This is a bit too aggressive, so I find that 0.40, in between 0.40 and 0.50 seconds is the perfect in between. And a really low amount of the mix here because I'm gonna add a second OTT. It's not gonna be so aggressive like the first one. But that always lifts up the room here, the reverb a little bit. And then I like to add this special preset that I have here as a final element. So I'm gonna go here, this default, and disable all the multi-band compressors and just use the main compressor like so. And I like to add 6 dBs of gain just so that it really saturates and really creates a nice little sausage. And we can also add more distortion here in the post-processing. And this is a little bit too much. I find that overdrive is a little bit more subtle, a little bit more usable. I'm gonna add a little bit more sub here. And since we're processing the main bass with the sub, when you change the sub, it changes the sound completely because the sub is going into the distortion and that really affects the sound. So one way that you can increase the sub volume without actually altering the patch, without having it distort, is that you can add an equalizer and just boost the low end. And that adds a little bit of volume in the low end without adding some distortion. And one last thing that we can add now is that we can add here a envelope in the pitch. And what this envelope in the pitch is gonna do is it's gonna create a really short attack. We can also add it here, our chorus pitch. And that creates a really nice attack here on the main bass. Sounds really awesome, especially once you start creating patterns here. And then you can shorten the notes here. And then to create variation, now you can add macros. For example, you can add a macro here on the comp filter as well as a position. And that's going to completely and drastically change your sound. And there you have it. That's how you can make a really classic December chime conductor style bass, sort of like what you heard frequently used in 2014, 2015 with that style of dubstep. It's really easy to make using the power of Pigments 4 and Pigment 4 wavetables. And you can play around and change different wavetables to try out different tones, different sounds. You can use basic shapes like what I did with the square and just keep it with the square wave. You can really open up and change the sound completely once you actually create the fundamental patch. This video was sponsored by Arturia, so thank you guys so much. If you guys are watching this video, I'm always thankful for you guys' support. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.